Welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving deep into a phenomenon that is reshaping the global workforce faster than anyone predicted. AI redundancy washing. You've likely felt it in the news cycle, but what you might not realize is how systematic and widespread this trend has become. We aren't just talking about automation replacing tasks. We're seeing corporations strategically attributing massive job cuts to artificial intelligence to mask traditional cost-cutting measures or strategic missteps. From tech giants like Amazon to hardware titans like ASML, the narrative is shifting. By 2025 alone, over 54,000 layoffs were officially tagged as AI-driven. In this video, we'll break down exactly how this washing works, why companies are doing it now more than ever, and what it means for your career in an increasingly automated future. Stick around because the data reveals a pattern that changes everything you thought you knew about job security. Let's start by defining the core mechanism here. AI washing has evolved from a buzzword into a corporate strategy. It is no longer enough for companies to say they are becoming more efficient. They need a specific high-tech villain to explain why they are shedding human capital. The trend data shows that in 2025, AI was the stated reason for more than 50,000 layoffs across various sectors. But when you dig into the reports from firms like Challenger, Gray, and Christmas, a different picture emerges regarding intent. Companies are increasingly using the arrival of new software or generative models as a convenient scapegoat. It allows leadership to frame reductions enforced not as failures of management strategy, but as inevitable steps in technological evolution. Consider how this plays out on a corporate level. When a division underperforms, or when costs need to be slashed to meet quarterly targets, citing AI integration provides a layer of plausible deniability. It signals to the market that the company is forward-thinking and cutting-edge. If they admitted they were cutting jobs due to poor product-market fit or budget constraints, it might trigger a stock drop or investor panic. By blaming the algorithm, the human error becomes invisible. The narrative shifts from "we made a mistake" to "the machine took over," which sounds more heroic in an earnings call. This tactic has become so prevalent that experts are now warning of a new era where job losses are prepackaged with high-tech justifications before they even happen. You might assume this is unique to small startups, but the data shows it is actually being led by some of the most stable and healthy companies in the world. Look at ASML, a critical player in semiconductor manufacturing often viewed as too important to fail, or Amazon, a logistics and retail powerhouse with deep pockets. Yet these entities have been at the forefront of this trend. In early 2026, reports surfaced detailing a steady drip of layoffs flowing out of these organizations. The common thread: the explanation was almost invariably tied to AI efficiency gains. This is particularly striking because it involves companies that are genuinely investing heavily in technology. The paradox here is that while they build the tools for automation, they simultaneously use those same tools as the primary justification for removing human roles. For instance, Amazon has publicly cited AI-driven automation as a reason for significant workforce reductions. This creates a complex dynamic where the company that builds the future of work is actively dismantling large portions of it under the guise of progress. It sends a confusing message to the industry. If you are working at these companies, your job safety isn't guaranteed just because the firm is financially robust. It's only as safe as their ability to claim AI has made your role obsolete. This sets a precedent that trickles down through the supply chain, forcing smaller vendors and partners to adopt similar narratives to protect their own headcounts. Why is this happening now? Why in 2025 specifically? The answer lies in the psychology of efficiency versus reality. Experts have noted a distinct pattern where companies claim AI is responsible for cuts, even when internal audits suggest the real culprit was old-fashioned cost-cutting or business fumbles. There is a desire to project an image of relentless innovation. In a market obsessed with disruption, admitting to strategic stagnation feels like a betrayal of shareholder value. Citing AI allows the narrative that the company is constantly evolving and adapting. However, this creates a dangerous disconnect between reality and perception. When 100 employees are laid off, the official story might be, "Our new predictive models handled customer service better." But often, those models simply didn't work as expected, or the company was just looking to reduce overhead in a specific region. The AI label acts as a shield against criticism. It reframes a financial decision, a choice to stop spending money on people, as a technological inevitability. This is where the term dubious excuse comes into play. We are seeing a trend where the justification for job loss becomes more sophisticated, moving away from simple budget cuts to complex narratives about algorithmic optimization. This makes it harder for employees to hold companies accountable or for regulators to intervene, as the explanation is wrapped in layers of technical jargon that sound impressive but may hide a simpler, less savory truth. So, what does this mean for you? Whether you are an employee, a job seeker, or just observing the landscape, the takeaway is clear. Job security based solely on company loyalty or tenure is becoming a thing of the past. If a corporation can attribute 54,000 cuts to AI in a single year, your personal role is vulnerable if it overlaps with any technology that can be labeled as redundant. The era of stable careers is being rewritten by this new logic of redundancy washing. The practical insight here is to focus on adaptability rather than static skills. You cannot fight the narrative by hoping AI won't touch your job. You must ensure your value proposition goes beyond what any current algorithm can replicate. This might mean leaning into complex decision-making, emotional intelligence, or high-level strategic oversight, areas where machines are still lagging behind human nuance. Furthermore, keep a close eye on how your industry frames its efficiency gains. If a sector starts heavily relying on AI transformation as an excuse for downsizing, it is a signal that the market is shifting rapidly. Don't wait until you are in the news cycle. Anticipate the shift by upskilling now. The companies that survive this wave will be those that actually integrate AI to augment human potential, not just to replace it. Your career survival depends on being the part of the equation that isn't easily washable. We've uncovered the mechanics behind the surge in tech layoffs and how AI redundancy washing is redefining corporate strategy. From the deceptive narratives used by giants like Amazon and ASML to the underlying reality of cost-cutting disguised as innovation, the picture is clear. Job security looks different today than it did a decade ago. Over 54,000 roles were lost in 2025 alone, and this trend is only accelerating. The message for you is simple but urgent. Adaptability is your new currency. Don't wait for the next wave of efficiency announcements to take action. If you found this deep dive into the future of work valuable, please hit that like button to support the channel. And let me know in the comments, do you think companies are being honest about their AI integration, or is it all just a fancy excuse for budget cuts? I want to hear your thoughts below.